Well, hey everybody, it's old Rip One. Good to be back with y'all today. We're fixing to take a lunch break ride, and we're gonna ride to Picayune. Gotta run to the bank, take care of a little business, and we invite as many of y'all that want to ride along to come along with us. We got a few things we want to talk to you about, and maybe tell a story, and we'll get on down the road. So y'all come on, ride along with the Ripper. Let's go to Picayune to the bank. All right, y'all, yeah, it's about 57 degrees, something like that. It's cool enough that I got my old signature red flannel shirt on. One that y'all have come on to seeing me wear a lot. Thought about maybe going out on the highway or something or another, but if we have time, we'll do that on our way back or something or another. We'll see. Don't really have anything to do out there. Don't need anything from Bojangles. Susie Q's cooking some yeast rolls there at the house. Oh man, them things are gonna be good. We're gonna warm up some chicken pot pie that she had last night for supper for us. Yeah, as we said, we riding the wired cruiser. Almost had to stop and think there for a minute. That's what it happens when you get old. You have to stop and think. Well, I tell you, I got to where I'm having to stop and think too much. Any of y'all having problems with that? Yeah, I mentioned on the thumbnail there about I like the bike except for one thing, and the one major thing that I dislike about it. Well, let me tell you a few things that I did before I tell you what I don't like about it. I got the bike, and it's got this little, is it DMN? I'll have to stop and think about it a minute, but DNM, little shock down here that is the shock for the rear suspension, right under my seat here. But it's got that little shock down there, and I got to fiddling around with it. I was talking with Rich Kraft, and he was telling me, Richard, you need to, because he's got an E-Cells, he one of them big ones. Yeah, he's got the E-Cells, and he was telling me, he said, you need to keep that thing pumped up. And you need to do some adjusting and some checks to make sure that it's at the right PSI. I said, okay. So I got to fiddling around with it. He told me, he said, here's the kind of little pump you need, because I didn't have a pump. So I bought a pump. I never had anything with a shock that you had to pump. Got a pump ordered from Amazon. Well, I got it in, and it took me a few days to figure out that the pump was bad. I would pump and pump and pump, and there wasn't nothing coming out of the pump. So, needless to say, that pump had to go back. And I made sure I told them it was defective also. I didn't just send it back and told them I bought the wrong thing, because they're liable to send that thing back out to somebody else, and I don't want that. See, the pothole crew's been over here scratching around, throwing a little bit of tar and rocks out. So I had to order another pump, and I got it in, and it worked. It worked. In fact, it works real good. I think I got about 155, 160 pounds in that little shock right now. And according to all the tests that everybody said, the way to set it up, I turned out pretty good. So we're gonna leave it like that. 'Cause, yeah, every time I got to fiddling around with that little pump I had trying to see how much pressure it had in it, try to pump it up, I was letting air out of it all that time. It finally let all the air out of it, and I couldn't even ride it until I got a pump. Y'all forgive me, I got a little bit of sinus problems. So if I sound like my nose is stopped up or I'm talking through my nose, that's the way it is. But I tell you what, it feels good to get back out on the bike. Y'all know that, y'all saw, I sent out that video week ago or so, and highlighting the blizzard. Yeah, the blizzard of 2025. Y'all let beat a goose a goblin. I tell you, I ain't never seen anything like that. 1963. Brother Joey, y'all know him, he was telling us that we had one when we first moved from there where the horses is, and we moved over on Joe Bennett where we are now. Then 1963, we had been just living there a year or so, and it come a snow like that. I remember it, but I was a little fella. But this thing here, it came from Texas. And they say everything's bigger and better that comes from Texas. Well, this was a big snowstorm. That thing hit in here Tuesday morning. The weatherman kept telling us, hey, y'all got a major snowstorm fixing to hit y'all. Well, we've heard all that before. And that man's down there checking his cows, so I'm not gonna mess with him. I'm gonna stop and just turn around here. But yeah, I said, we heard all that before. It probably ain't nothing coming through. And the kids are getting all excited about it and everything. But I got up Tuesday morning. The schools had already canceled school. School was out all week. Yes, sir, because they declared it an emergency down here on the Gulf Coast. You guys from up north, y'all probably saying, what? Declaring an emergency? Yeah. They had to get snow plows from up north. Mickey watches more news than I do. But Mickey said they had to get snow plows from like Illinois and Indiana and places like that to come all the way down here and plow the interstates. Because we down in the south, we ain't got no means by which to plow the roads with. Can you imagine that? But yeah, now some of us we got 6. I told y'all it was 6 or 8 there on a tractor the other day. But we got 6 or 8, as I thought it was, but it was more like 6. Now Ocean Springs down right there on the Gulf Coast, they got 10 inches. Can you believe that? Right there on the water in the Mississippi Gulf Coast, 10 inches of snow. So that was a very exciting, and for some people, it wasn't prepared for it. It was like traumatic. They had people around here having a lot of fun, hooking their 4-wheelers to the little old flat bottom aluminum boat, and they'd pull their kids around in it. A lot of people got out and I guess acted like a kid, Ain't nothing wrong with that. I know a couple of y'all, old Terry Nelson told me, Richard, get out there and ride that bike in it. That'd make a good video. I agree with you, Terry. But I wasn't gonna, this old boy here, I ain't gonna do that. I ain't gonna do that because this bike's heavy, and that brings us back around to my number one thing that I don't like about this bike. It is extremely heavy. And you say, well, how heavy is it? Well, the spec says just a bike alone is 80 some odd pounds. And I don't know exactly, I got it wrote down somewhere. But by the time you put the batteries in it, it's 105 pounds. I tell you what, I think somebody needs to check their scales, because I had the deer, and the deer was 93 pounds, loaded up with the battery and all in it. I never had as much trouble moving the deer around in the shed there as I do this bike here. This bike is extremely heavy. Now, is that a deal breaker for me? I mean, I'm not fixing to turn around and sell it, I can tell you, because I love this bike. But it does make it rather cumbersome for me keeping up with it. I tell you, if I go to roll it up that ramp there at the house, that thing, if it gets away from me, it's liable to roll back down the hill. Pearl River County, boys. Yeah, it's liable to roll back down the hill and get away from me. To me, it reminds me, I call it a small motorcycle. That's what I like to refer to it as. But again, this may not be a deal breaker for you, and I'm certainly not giving it a bad grade. I'm just giving you how it works. I'm just telling you how it works with me there at the house. This thing is heavy. Just moving it around the shed, you know, from one side of the shed to the other, whatever. Oh, this thing is it's something to lug around. But I tell y'all what, laying all that aside now, I love this bike. I got this thing, I got it in pedal assist too. And it is so easy to pedal. Well, let me rephrase that. Because I've had some people ask me questions about it. So I didn't think you liked anything but torque sensor bikes. I do like a torque sensor bike. But they got something rigged up in the electronics of this. With that power sensor and everything, I tell you what, this thing is very comfortable to ride. Plus, I got some good resistance right here in pedal assist too. You see there 20.1. I wanted to say knots, but no, we're doing 20.1 mile per hour. And I did check the speedometer, y'all, with my GPS on my phone, and it's right down the line. I just thought I'd ride out here by the airport. We've been out here in a while and see what's going on. Yes, sir, last week, I'll get back to the bike here in a minute. But last week, I tell you what, it got extremely cold. It got down to 13, 14 degrees here. I tell you, I stayed in my pajamas and had on a sweatshirt in the house. And I stayed like that for just about all week. Didn't really get out. Couldn't get out for a couple of days. Ice and all on the roads. But yeah, for some of you guys that like to ride bikes in the snow, yeah, it'd have been an excellent opportunity. But Big Ripper, he's not going to do it. Because the first day it snowed, that snow was, I showed it to you on the video, that snow was really powdery, and I mean, it looked like mashed potato flakes, if any of y'all don't use real potatoes, you know. But yeah, it looked like mashed potato flakes. You sling them up in the air. And so you get out there and go to riding around on this thing and hit a 105-pound bike. I could picture myself out there trying to dig this thing up off of me, or call somebody to come and pick this thing up off of me out there in the snow. So, you know what? I chickened out. I'm sorry, fellas. All y'all that asked me to ride, I just chickened out. But this is a big bike. And I'm 6 foot, 225, and I got 32-inch inseam. Now, I've never had a bike that fit me as good as this one. So, as far as size-wise, for my height and all, man, it is a great fit. It's just the weight. That's my only heartburn that I have with it right now, is just the weight. But I'm not gonna do anything about it. Leave one of the batteries at home? No, I ain't gonna do that. Am I gonna be able to load it up on the truck, on a rack? Yeah. I got me a rack now that's got a ramp. And I can roll it up there if I have to. I bet this video's gonna kind of come out dark because the sun's in and out of some little bit of hazy clouds, but maybe it'll be okay. Yes, sir, I really like the bike. One thing that I don't like, another thing, but it's not a big deal. Ooh, them brakes will stop you. Man, them things will stop you. And you know what? I was fixing to tell y'all that they're, because of them loud, scratchy brakes, but it seems like the more I ride it, the quieter they get. And I hope that it's a trend that keeps going, you know. Yeah, I hope it just keeps on getting quieter. But man, I hit them brakes back there at that stop sign. And look, I thought it was gonna throw me over the handlebars. Plus, it's got them four piston brake calipers. So that works good. Speaking of brake calipers, it reminded me of Jerry T. Jerry T's up there in, I think he's in Ohio. He's up around the Cleveland area. He's got a YouTube channel and he does a lot for walkie. So I'll put his link down in my description there. Y'all check out Jerry T and throw a few prayers and thought his way, because he had back surgery. And it looks like he's gonna be laid up for a month or so. So I told him he could send them walkie bikes down here to me, and I'd keep them lubed up and worked up for him, all lathered up, you know, while he's recuperating. But he wouldn't do that. Plus, he's getting that X3 Max, I believe. If that's the name, if that's not the name of it, I'll try to correct it with a graphic. But he's getting one of those, and he showed a picture on Facebook. That thing looks like Jerry was standing there in front of a horse. My goodness, that's a big bike. But hey, I bet it's got the power. I bet it's got the know-how, I guarantee you, to get you on down the road. I believe they sold this piece of land, y'all. They've been out there grubbing them little oaks and all that was there. Somebody put a culvert in up here. I think somebody's gonna build something there. I don't know who owned that land, unless Gary Jones owned it. There's Old Glory at half staff still. We'll give it a good salute. Something else that I got new is I got me a new helmet. I got one of them Nito helmets. I had to think a minute. I hope I didn't pronounce that wrong. Nito. I just got to thinking about, you know, as I ride this bike more and more out on the streets and Picayune and all, I needed a better helmet. So I know Xnito is a very popular brand, so I thought I would go with that. But after I got it, I mean, I really like the way the helmet looks and I like the way it feels. But after I got it, I'll tell y'all the truth about it. It don't look to me any better than what I had. I just had one of them little old helmets that I got from Magicycle. It was free. Somebody from Magicycle gave it to me. It was Smart for You. And I had never said anything about being a MIPS helmet, the one that I had. And maybe it wasn't. But when you look at these two helmets and compare them, they're almost identical. Of course, that Smart for You helmet was like $89. And of course, if you've got the Xnito helmet, you know what I paid for this one. One of my viewers said, try Smith. Well, I looked at the Smiths, but the color that I wanted, they didn't have. Oh no, they didn't have it in my size. That's what it was. So I didn't go with the Smiths, but I could have got it for about $65. That would have been a big savings right there. So I kind of feel a big chunk of money gone out of my wallet, you know, and I don't know if I've got a better helmet. I really don't care much about how it looks. I'll show you my picture in it. Put my picture on the screen. Waiting on you, sir. He gave me a little highball there. Somebody probably knows me. I tell y'all, I told y'all, one thing I like about this bike is this bike will get you on down the country. I mean, it'll get you in these intersections, it'll get you out of harm's way really, really quick. But I tell you, I'm oh so careful about how when I go to turn it, I watch what kind of pavement that I'm turning it on, you know. I'm always looking for loose rocks and gravels and stuff, you know. Cause I busted my behind down on the coast at Waveland one day. Yeah, I busted my behind down on the coast at Waveland on that Magicycle deer. And if y'all'd like to see that video, I'm gonna put that at the end screen here. Magicycle deer, I fell. Whether you're riding this bike or somebody else's bike, you really, really need to take notice of where you're turning and what kind of loose impediments, wet straw, leaves. We just gonna pull right through here, y'all. We just got a little night drop here to make. All right, y'all, we can head back out now. Got our little banking business done. Yeah, as I was saying, I'll put that video where I fell on at the end of this video. You know, I could do that a lot more times, tell y'all what I'm putting at the ends, maybe to try to encourage people to watch, you know. But a lot of times, it's just big old silly me, I can't remember. No, we're not going to Back Ray today. We're going right out on the road. One day I'm gonna run down to Tractor Supply down the road there. But problem is there ain't no good shoulder out there. I tell you what, when you hit that throttle, if you got this thing turned on, if you got it unlocked like I got this one, you better hold on to your butt. Because you're going somewhere. Hold on to your butts. Y'all remember that phrase? When the guy was trying to, on Jurassic Park, the original one, he was trying to figure out how to get them security fences back up. He turned that computer on, he told him, hold on to your butts. Went there yesterday to that pretzel shop and got a Cuban, ain't that the, I think that's the name of it, a Cuban sandwich. And me and Susan split that for lunch. That was real good. That's where I got that big old pretzel at that day. They got some good food, them fine folks. I don't know what that piece of cardboard laying there is right there, but I'm gonna watch that thing. I don't want to slip and bust my behind on it. Now you hold up there. There you go. That boy. That's the way you're supposed to do it. You don't have the right of way. People at Sterning's got the right of way. Let's see, last Friday we went to, it snow melted, or was near about all melted. We went to a Chafalaya and ate lunch. And I got their crawfish etouffee. Some of the finest in the land, I can tell you right now. They know how to fix that etouffee. All right, let me bump the pedal assist on up on this thing. Let's get it on out of here. There we go. Yeah, you see, I told y'all what my settings was, and if I think I can remember that, I'm gonna take a stab at it. But it's 15% on 1, 2 is 25%, 3 is 35%, 4 is 45%, and 5 is like 75%. But I don't have a setting for 100. So I was telling somebody I was talking to, he's one of my viewers, talking to me about this bike and other bikes. But if I want to go full blast, then I got to turn the throttle. You see, right now I don't have the throttle. I mean, I'm not using the throttle. I'm just pedaling along at 23 miles per hour. And it's kind of like, you go to Burger King, you know, you tell them what you want and they'll make it your way. That's what they say they'll do anyway. Well, that's the way the pedal assist is for this bike. If you want to go a little faster, you can adjust that pedal assist. I'm talking about while you're pedaling, you know. Of course, you can always use the throttle here just to go wide open if you want. But this is my favorite speed right here, 21 miles per hour. This is me. Now, when I get in some busy traffic like I did back there a while ago, I had a guy behind me. I just shot the gas to it, just bumped that pedal assist on up, and we was getting on down the road. I told y'all I'd tell you a story. I guess it's time for the story. We all grew up in a construction family, working in construction. Every one of us brothers had a hand at working in construction at times. But most of us worked just long enough till we could find, you know, something better. Something had benefits, things like that. Well, you know, we got up and fixed our lunches every morning. And I told somebody this Sunday, that my mama she was the greatest person that ever walked this earth as far as I'm concerned. For the amount of stuff that she could do in the mornings before work. And she fixed all of our lunches. If we was going to school, our kids was going to school, she got up and she ironed our clothes. Yeah, can you imagine that? She ironed our breeches and all, and our clothes, before she sent us to school. But yeah, there was so much that she could do, because she worked and my daddy worked, but Mama drove a school bus. And Mama come down with a bad gallbladder, and they had to take her gallbladder out. And they put her there in the PICU there at the hospital. Y'all saw right there by the school where I go to ride. That's where the old hospital was. But they put her in the hospital. They didn't have the, in and out in one day surgery like they do now. Gallbladder surgery, I guess, was like a major surgery back then. Mama had to stay in the hospital for a week. And Daddy told Joey, said, Joey, you better be thinking about what you could fix us for some sandwiches and all when we go to work. And Joey liked corned beef. Well, I'll just tell you the truth about it. We all like corned beef. I've had some people say, yuck, ain't no way I'd eat that. But Joey bought cans of corned beef. Back then, you could probably buy a can of corned beef that had the little old tin thing, and you stick the key in it and you turn it around, peel the hide off of it. You could probably buy a can of corned beef for, I don't know, a dime, 15 cents, maybe a quarter. Well, now somebody told me Sunday that a can of corned beef costs you $6. Holy moly. Yeah, Joey would get up and fix our sandwiches just about every day. We had corned beef sandwiches. He'd slice a little bit, put some pickle relish, put some mayonnaise and mustard. Hey, it made a pretty good sandwich. Well, we had my Uncle Herman. I've told y'all about Uncle Herman before. Uncle Herman was a good friend of ours, good man. He was in the war, in World War II, in Germany. Built a bridge over the River Rhine. Every day, Uncle Herman would come and eat lunch with us wherever we was at. We said, Uncle Herman, you want a sandwich? He said, what kind is it? We said, it's corned beef. Oh, no. Uncle Herman didn't want nothing at no corned beef sandwich. We asked him why. Why, Uncle Herman? Why you don't like corned beef? He said, because it looks too much like a horse. He said, what? He said, the Germans had them cut off, had their supply lines cut off. And he said they was eating everything they could get their hands on over there. And he said they had to eat horse. So, I guess not a funny story, because that wasn't funny. But yet, we tried to get him to eat that corned beef. Uncle Herman, oh no. Oh no, son. I seen too much meat that looked like that in Germany. That's about it for today. Y'all don't forget to check out that video at the end. I'll try to start remembering to tell y'all that. We got another video we're going to do here in a day or so. And hopefully the weather will keep getting better. Yeah, I tell you all, last week I couldn't do nothing. It only got up to 30 some odd degrees during the day. A couple of days there, it didn't even get out of freezing. And then this weekend it rained. It was raining or either cold or something or another. I don't know. It's always something. But we do appreciate the wired cruiser. I like to ride it. And as we said, the only thing I'd hang my hat on about it that I didn't like is the weight of it. But I tell you what, I like everything else so much that the weight don't, you know, it's not a deal breaker for me. I'm not gonna leave it home. It's not gonna be a shed queen, I can tell you that. We're gonna ride it. We're gonna take it to Bay St. Louis. We're gonna take it to Possum Walk. We're gonna take it to Flat Top Road where they shoot at us when we drive. Yeah, we got a lot planned. But I tell you what, I've really enjoyed the ride today. And good to have y'all along with me. It gives me somebody to talk to, you know what I mean? Hey, if you've seen these videos and you kind of like it and you think you might want to watch more, check out that video at the end. And also, look down there, and if you hadn't subscribed to me already, I'd ask you if you would hit that subscribe, that like, and that bell notification, so you'll be notified next time we put out a video. And with that being said, we're gonna cross old railroad here at Camel Crossing. We appreciate having y'all along with us. Hold on just a second. Well, here we go. Here's old Red. How you doing, Red? Yeah, that was our old place over yonder, y'all. Before we moved to where we was now, I know most of y'all know this, but there's been a lot of people watching me. I guess a lot of because of this bike. But that's where we was born and raised right there. But this is all in the NASA buffer zone. And they won't let nobody live in here now. But we had to move, and we moved across the railroad over there on Joe Bennett Road. God bless y'all. We'll see y'all a little further down the road at One Outdoors.